Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to do our uranium daily technical analysis update. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to go over physical uranium, which is more or less represented by the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We're going to go over a whole bunch of an ETF and a whole bunch of individual companies. Get a good picture on this. And uranium, it does look like it's turning around a little bit. It does look a lot more positive than what it has been. So that's a positive. Another thing to look at, I also look at oil and natural gas, and some of these companies are in those sectors. That does look like it's turning around as well for a short-term, at least little bounce bottom. It doesn't mean that we're not going to go any lower in a couple of days. What I'm saying is the short-term looks like we're going to bounce higher, and the buyers are going to have to push this whole thing higher if they want it to move and put in a bottom here. So short-term bottom, yes. If it's a medium to long-term bottom, it could be, but I'm not sure yet. We have to see what the next couple of trading days are. I would fire off, do some sprinkling in some of your favorite companies, and I'll show you why with some of the charts here. So let's dive in here. I'll give you my financial opinion again. This is just my opinion, what I'm doing. Please don't use it as advice. So here's the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. What I like here, I'm going to zoom in on this pattern right here. This is called a bullish piercing. And what a bullish piercing pattern is, and it's a reversal pattern. So you've got a downtrend, and usually these are a reversal pattern to go up. This is also a bullish, so I'm going to back out just a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. This downward movement was reversed with this bullish piercing pattern, where you've got an opening price that gapped lower. That's the gap lower here. It gaps lower. See how this opening is lower than the closing here? It gapped lower, and then throughout the day, it worked all the way up and closed quite strong above the halfway of this candlestick here. That is a bullish piercing pattern where it potentially is a short-term bottom. And that's what this leg up is there. So we've got another bullish piercing here today. And most of the time, they're pretty reliable. We could see a bounce here and move on up. So this could be a potential bottom. Now, it could also fizzle out some and roll back over. So I don't want people to be saying that this is 100% for sure bottom. We still have to keep the momentum to the upside, but this is a reversal candlestick. It could be a bottom here, and that's what I look for, and I'll add in money for a pattern like this. So I would myself add in a little bit at this time. Looking at URNM. So we want to look for these patterns throughout. We want to see bottoming patterns in all of these different companies. This is URNM. Yeah, it looks really messy here. This is the projected move. I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to leave some of these lines in here. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit. We do a 5-year here. I'm going to take out this line here, which is a support line that's underneath it. And then I'm going to take out this guy here, just to give you, kind of clean it up some. So we've got this pattern here that we broke to the downside. And I'm going to take that line out of there too. And if we zoom in, we've got a downtrend line that came down. We've been kind of going all over the place here. And what I'm looking for is the next step is, well, we've got some pretty good stuff down here. I'm looking for a bottom. And what that first tells us is that we don't want to make any lower lows. And we want to start making some higher highs. What looks good here is we have a nice big buying pressure day with some good volume here. So it's like, boom, they came in, and then another big hit here, and then the slow leak off of sellers. And I think we're going to head higher here over the next couple of days. This is what I'm seeing is a trend line break on a very short-term basis. So what a bullish piercing pattern looks like is we come down, we hit a bottom and reverse upward, and then we close kind of above the halfway point of the one before it, meaning that we broke this downtrend and we're kind of coming back up with some momentum. That's basically what a bullish piercing pattern looks like, looking at this from a daily perspective, a 30-minute candlestick perspective. So I think tomorrow we could potentially move higher. Why do I say the words potentially? Why? Because nothing's 100% sure. And I know some people in the comments section, they're like, potentially this, potentially. Guys, no one knows the future. I'm just going to let you know that. All we can do is take the probabilities here, and this is a probability that it's going to reverse and go higher. And I'm taking that bet with a little bit of money and putting it in. Nothing is for sure. Here's Bannerman. Bannerman is also exhibiting that nice buying pressure on the daily candlestick. It's a bullish piercing pattern today. So I am seeing confluence. I'm not just seeing it in a pattern or two. We're seeing it in a whole bunch. And when we zoom in on this here, it's looking very nice. I would be a buyer here. We've got a downtrend line. Even if you were to readjust, you could readjust it there. And we're starting to break to the upside. At the end of today, it broke. So we finished quite strong. And hopefully this momentum can continue into tomorrow and we can get some momentum. We also have a very large reversal candlestick in the middle of the day here. So we sold off and then it drove way back up. Sold off, drove back up. The buyers are coming in here and buying this thing up in this section here. So I am getting more bullish here. I think it's looking a lot better. It could potentially be a bottoming pattern for a lot of these companies, it looks like. Goviax, we've got support right here. Again, if you're going to do Sprinkle Fest, now's kind of the time that I would be doing it because you're at support. We're starting to see some of these things firm up, like Bannerman, URNM, and the Sprott Uranium Trust. So right here, right now, you know, if we see some buyer step in tomorrow, I would definitely be looking at the sprinkles. We've got Global Atomic here. I do like Global Atomic. Downtrend line, we broke the downtrend line. We're kind of sitting going sideways here. We do have a bullish piercing pattern that we have today on the daily candlestick. That's exactly what I look for. What does a bullish piercing mean? We hit a bottom here, and notice how we didn't make a lower low. We bounced off this support with a wick at the bottom coming back up. We probably can throw in another downtrend line here, something like this, where we broke the downtrend line, we came back, and if we break this 305, we are in a new uptrend on a very short-term basis. So we're going to come up, we'll break, and then we got to break 330, we break, and then we're, I think, in the clear if we can close above 330 some point in the future. But we are holding ground here. We're not making a new low. That is good. That's when I like to say, okay, the momentum's, it's squaring itself up. The downtrend's squaring into a sideways movement, which is now we're going to try to move on up. That's when I like to add. And that's what it looks like. Forces Metals, it's doing the same thing. It's starting to square up on a 1 year. You can see this thing, we squared up here. This is a bullish engulfing pattern. It came back a little bit, and I think we're going to try to move on up here. Let's zoom on in, and this is what we're trying to do. We draw this through. It's breaking its downtrend. We're not making, this is a, I'll just draw it in here. We've got a low, we have a higher low, and then if this can hold, we have another higher low, and we're starting to make higher lows as we come on up. I'd be looking at Forces Metals even, if you guys like it. Deep Yellow is struggling a little bit more. It was down 4.8% today, broke to the downside of this pattern here. So that's what that looks like. This is on a 1 year basis. This may even travel back a little bit more. To me, I kind of like it down here. If it can get down a little bit more, and maybe I'll add a little bit more in. I do like Deep Yellow quite a bit. The management team is an excellent management team, and they're in an excellent jurisdiction. They're playing their cards pretty well, and if they want to go into production and develop their mine, they have the expertise to do it. So I hold Deep Yellow with a very high ranking from their management team and their abilities to create a mine. So here is Sky Harbor. Sky Harbor is getting a little bit of buying pressure today. At the end of the day, you can see that big buying pressure where it came back up. Let's continue to zoom in. We have not broken the downtrend yet, but it looks like we're trying to square up a little bit. If we can get this entire area to kind of come back and start breaking downtrends, I'd get a lot more bullish on it. And I am getting more bullish on this entire sector because it is showing me strength. And in a lot of these, I would be sprinkling money in because I think we're getting close. This is Next Gen Energy. This one looks good too. This is a bullish piercing pattern. It fell below its support line and then came right back up. The support is working. So we came on down. We have a bullish piercing pattern on a daily candlestick. That's what that candlestick looks like. This guy right here. And what it does is it opens lower than yesterday's close and fights its way back up to about the halfway point or higher. It's about there. We also are at that support area. When you zoom in on it, we've got nice big bullish engulfing pattern in the middle of the day. It's a piercing pattern when you look at it in a daily perspective. And we're coming on up. Let me throw kind of a trend line in here. We've got kind of a short-term downtrend line that is still in play, but I think that we're going to try to go for it tomorrow. I think we're going to see some positive development. I'm hoping, at least, tomorrow, just by looking at all the other stocks in the sector. And CanAlaska, let's go back to a 1 year. We're right kind of at the bottom there. We're trying to break out of this downtrend, and we're right at the downtrend. So hopefully this thing can start moving on up. Here's base load. Base load is kind of breaking on down here. We're going to the 1 year. We're still in this downtrend kind of pullback mode. We do have some support underneath, right where it's at, all through kind of this section in here. I don't know if I'd be doing anything with it right now. Fission 3.0, looking at it from a daily perspective, buyers are kind of buying it up. Zooming in on it, it's still, well, I mean, it popped up above the downtrend, came back, and we're kind of bouncing up again. This is still a low. Hopefully these higher lows are stepping in. So I think we're going to try to make a move here. It doesn't look horrible. Fission uranium looks decent because this support line's holding. We went from a downtrend to a sideways movement, and then usually we go to an upward movement. So fission's looking better. We're still trying to put in the process of a bottom. PAMCO, nice good buying pressure, small selling pressure. This is looking a little bit better right here today. So I think we're trying to reverse this thing around. Will it be successful? We don't know yet, but it's trying, and we can see the buying pressure come in with smaller selling pressure. That's exactly what you want to see. Big selling pressure days through here came down, and right here it's starting to change. We're starting to see buyers step in here. It's starting to come back up. I think it's trying to put in a bottom here for Kazatomprom. Peninsula Energy, this one also looks like it's starting to firm up a little bit. With these big down candlesticks, you see them all through here, kind of big selling pressure, but it's starting to firm up a little bit. Bullish engulfing at the end of the day today. Volume starting to kick up a little bit on the buying in here. I think it's trying. We're early, but it's trying. Boss Energy, I don't know what the heck to think about this chart. It's all over the place. I'm going to kind of skip right through it. Lotus Resources, it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom. And the reason I say that is if you look at this, it looks like we're trying to put in a bottom here with these higher lows. And we're stepping up into this downtrend line. We broke out. We kind of came back and back test. I'd like to see the momentum continue tomorrow. And if we get good momentum tomorrow, I think a bottom's ensuing here. Uroy is looking a little bit weaker. Looking at this, it's a big down day with a small up day next to it. This thing is still in a downtrend. It has not turned yet. It looks a little weaker than the other ones. It's trying to do a little bit of something here. If it had a bullish piercing pattern today, I'd say it looks a little bit stronger, but we're still in a downtrend with that. Encore Energy, I didn't even see this one go up 10.8% today. I was looking at it, it was down a little bit, and then the buyers just came in and wrecked it higher. Way to go, Encore. This one broke through its downtrend at the end of the day. And again, remember I was talking about these, I'm starting to see signals throughout the day that these things are starting to turn. And we can see that bullish engulfing there and a bullish piercing engulfing here. So you have two of them in a row. It ceased to go down, and then the buyer stepped in and whomped it, and it went flying higher. So this one looks very much positive. Could we come back and retest this? We could, and then move up. But go Encore, it looks really good. This one looks like it's turning around as well. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the candlesticks. I'm looking at this candlesticks in here. If you look at the thing here, what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to see that we're not making new lows. That's check number one. It's that you have this down here that we're not making new lows. What we're doing is that we're kind of developing a pattern here where we're starting to squeeze up a little bit. And I'm hoping that we can move to the upside. And usually what I look for are big volume days on the big buying pressure signals, small leak off of sellers, and then big buying pressure, small leak off, and then a big breakthrough of this pattern. But I'm looking for the candlestick sizes, and it looks like it's starting to turn right here. And hopefully that momentum that we're getting here can progress forward. I think it will. Oil's looking strong too, so it's looking good. And here's URG. See this big buying pressure day right here? That is good. And you could see the selling pressure couldn't bring it back below 135. And see how we've got volume starting to kick in a little bit through here. So we kind of broke up, came back, made a little bit lower low, boom, punched higher. We're going to break through, hopefully, this downtrend line tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping for. Here's UEC. UEC's got a little bit of buyers too. Big buyer coming in, get a little bit more buying pressure at the end of the day today. If we back out on the 1 year, we got buyers kind of just stepping in. We're still in this downtrend, but it's looking like it's trying to do something. It's looking like it's trying to do something. We're still in the downtrend though. It's not out of the woods yet. See this volatility in here? If you look at the volatility in here, you've got kind of, oh my goodness, this volatility in here, and then this volatility in here. See how that's contracting? It's contracting down, and we might try to stage a comeback here. And whenever you can contract down, basically into a point, and I'm just gonna do a kind of a big old pattern here. Lost it here. And that's what I'm talking about, is this is basically a descending wedge pattern where we could turn and move higher here. So whenever you see volatility, when things are going all over the place, you got buyers and sellers battling it out. And then when they start to equal each other and things calm down, you get this calming point. And that's what happens at a tip of a break to the upside before a punch higher or lower. Punch high, punch lower, this is inverted upward. A punch higher, this is inverted downward like it is to punch higher. LTBR is doing the same type of setup as Centrus Energy. See how it's contracting in to this point here? And we're getting some buying pressure. See the big candlestick volumes kind of sticking in? I think we're probably going to turn here shortly. So that's good that I'm seeing this today. ISO Energy. Oops. So here's ISO Energy. Seeing the same thing here. See all the selling pressure in here, and then it's starting to contract, and see this cluster of buying right in here. This is the cluster of selling that I'm looking at here. This does not look good. This is going lower. And then it's like you got to wait until you see the buyer step in. Here's your buyer stepping in. And let's see if they can hold this here to do a reversal. On a 1 year, this is so you have a wick at the bottom yesterday, and then you've got a kind of a bullish piercing. It's trying to turn this thing around. It opened lower and closed higher with the momentum going up. So that looks good. It doesn't mean that we're just going to go flying higher. We might have to grind sideways for a little bit on some of these companies before moving up. But the buyers are stepping in and making a stance here. Same thing with Appia. The buyers are stepping in, making a stance. And what this would essentially be, guys, is a false breakdown to the downside if we slingshot higher. Because this is news-based, and it was forced lower off of fear. And then I think the structural market underneath this is going to drive this thing way higher. Here's DNN, Denison Mines. That's the weekly. The dailies, we're still in this downtrend here. Let's zoom way in on the downtrend here. We're still in this downtrend channel. We got a big buying pressure candlestick right here, and hopefully we can try to move our way up. But that's still in a downward channel. Blue Sky Uranium, we're right here at the bottom. Looks like we're getting some buying pressure today. So that looks pretty good for Blue Sky Uranium. And you can see it kind of clustering up here. Here is Forum Energy Metals. Now, Forum Energy Metals, this thing's been absolutely ripped apart, shredded, massively sold off with some high volume here. I am still not afraid of this. We've got a good pattern underneath it. If this thing comes back, it looks like it's contracting down, the opening and closing prices. That momentum is slowing. You can see it slowing here. You get a little wick at the bottom. This could turn at any point. So I would be looking for a turn. You can start seeing the buyers step in here and start to accumulate a little bit. It might not be a bad thing to accumulate yourself if you guys like Forum Energy Metals. It's an exploration company. Here's Laramide. Laramide's looking really good. This is a bullish engulfing reversal pattern here. No doubt. It's probably going to head higher. This is one that I would be adding into. I think the pattern looks very strong. We've got good support down here. We came up. We're coming back. The support's holding. It rocket launched higher throughout the day. Good buying pressure. I think we're probably going to see this thing move on up, probably tomorrow even, hopefully. But again, these look like they're putting in bottoms on a couple of them. So overall, the sector looks like we're starting to turn. And when I start to see a little bit of strength, maybe just sprinkle a little bit across the sector. It's up to you on what you want to do. Again, this is not advice by any means. That's what I'm doing. And some of them look like they have reversal candlestick patterns. They're putting in bullish piercings, bullish engulfings, hammer patterns. I think we're there. And hopefully we need to see some follow through tomorrow or next week. What I want to see is small down days if we're going to get down days, or follow through and we're moving on higher. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a big old sell-off reversal candlestick where we get a big down day and it ends strong. We do not want to see that. Small down days, big buying up days, and then that stair-stepping pattern back up again. If we start to see that, and you guys see that, big buying pressure candlesticks, small selling pressure candlesticks, keep adding it. That's sprinkle fest. That's what I would be doing. Sprinkle in, sprinkle in, sprinkle in, and kind of cost average that entire bottom. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.